Welcome to the Many Worlds Podcast. Listener discretion is advised. This anthology is a work of fiction. Any characters, events, and businesses have been fictionalized or completely fabricated. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental, or happened in an alternate dimension. Before we get into tonight's chaos, before Elias takes the stage, before shadows start moving, we head west. Far west. Out where the heat hums, the sand tastes like copper, and legends grow like weeds. My buddy Rob brought us a story from the desert, a parable about a man who practiced himself into myth, madness, and something stranger. This is the parable of the Standstill Gunfighter, by the strange and half crazy Rob Perez.
La palabra del pistolero que no se mueve, the parable of the Standstill Gunfighter. There was a boy, not bright, but he had a dream. This boy would become the best darn gunslinger there ever was. He would become a pistolero. And it's hard to practice being a pistolero. Being as a showdown only happens once for one of you. The boy, though, he practiced every day, all day long. But even then, he couldn't practice every second of every minute. You see, the body, it has functions, and well, sometimes you have to listen. Then the boy had an idea. Like many witless boys do. He wasn't good, but he did it anyways. The boy cemented his feet in the desert. No more stopping practice to go to the baño. No more going to bed. But most importantly, no more dinner time, mijo. And the boy gave up everything. And he practiced, and he practiced, and he practiced. And the boy took a small break once to take notice that he was now a man. Also to tell a passing condor a message. Hey condor, I'm a pistolero. Find me worthy pistoleros, he said. Ave Maria, he's right, said the condor loudly and in Spanish. And so the condor set out to look for adversaries worthy of el pistolero. He was back before long with 5 men who were pretty good at best. And the 6 men stared at each other hard and for a long time. And one of them made the keen observation that el pistolero que no se mueve really couldn't move. So as his stated name, he shared this comical information with the other dirty gentlemen. They all seemed in agreement of the comical nature of the situation, thus presuming to have a little laugh. This was not the case for el pistolero que no se mueve, though, who instead of laughing, yelled at the top of his lungs. And among the booming and banging, you could make out what sounded like "Draw, hijos de putas," in which, at any case, sent the men reaching for their pistolas only to meet a bullet hole somewhere before that point. Muy bien hecho, el pistolero que no se mueve. Very well done, said the condor. I'll go find more. And it flew away, bringing more and more challengers. El pistolero que no se mueve's fame reached far and for the most part wide. At least to either coast, it became an attraction. El pistolero que no se mueve has bested the greatest gunfighters in the world. 20 pesos says you can't beat him, read the sign. There was meat being cooked and sold. Mariachi played the entire length of the event and sometimes even longer. And time passed, as it has a habit of doing, and many more pistoleros died by the gun of El Pistolero que no se mueve, the Standstill Gunfighter. Less people came to see him. The amazing, el gran maestro, the one and only pistolero que no se mueve. So, of course, he was resigned to shoot the people cooking the meats, and the children with their globos, and also the mariachi, which he shot to the beat of their guitar playing as he was saying, "Pati, pati, pati, pati." He found the hammer of his pistola so quickly and in a manner that would have any señorita nearby blushing, of which he found one, who ironically enough was blushing, and then bleeding, then muerta, dead. And after surveying his masterpiece, he noticed that there were no more targets, save the condor and other birds in the distant sky. And he waved at them, and the condor looked down far below and heard him shouting. Maybe he's sorry, tired of a life of being a pistolero que no se mueve, a standstill gunfighter. Oh, wait, no. He's saying, I'm going to shoot you, thought the condor. Pati, 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 which means for you, for you, for you, for you, in Spanish, and again fanning the hammer like a whirlwind. But now, there is no one to shoot at, said El Pistolero que no se mueve, and with that time began to pass us by again. Now the man was an old man, el viejo pistolero que no se mueve. He had been washed by the desert sand for so long that combined with the sun had left him an eroded hunk of leather. And he was angry too. No more people to shoot at, no more birds tampoco. He was also most angry at the fact that he only had one more bullet left. He wasted the rest attempting to shoot out the sun because he was hot. And everybody knows you can't be a pistolero until you die a pistolero shot by another gunfighter's bullet. As soon as he finished saying that, the boy came walking through the desert. This one was brighter than El Pistolero que no se mueve. El Pistolero que no se mueve saw the boy and instinctively took aim. But wait, this is my chance. That boy is my chance, he said. Muchacho, toma, he said as he tossed the gun at the boy's feet. Mátame, kill me. Reluctantly, the boy picked up the gun and made a weight and see how much it felt like in his hand. He looked up at it, viejo pistolero que no se mueve, with deep green eyes, and said, Señor pistolero que no se mueve, I'm sorry, but I will not kill for someone else's dream. One cannot expect to wreak a havoc one intends to benefit from without having to live out the consequences. A smart kid. And he tossed the gun far to his left, away from el hombre viejo que no se mueve, the standstill old man. What's your name, boy? Asked el hombre viejo que no se mueve in the desert, garbled voice. Me llamo el mundo, he said. It means the world.
In part 1, a thing from the Widening Gyre put on Wickham's face like a mask. That was a mistake. Because tonight, the real midnight arrives and somebody's going to pay for pretending to be him. Tonight, the real Wickham steps on stage. And he isn't coming to talk.
Brie sat in her kitchen with the demo track playing. The guitar riff wasn't there yet. Her hair was pulled back. She wore gray yoga pants and a gray sweater. The TV was on mute across the counter. The house was beautiful, but empty when her son wasn't home. She hummed to herself. When the bass line hit, just the right amount of distortion, it gave her chills. It felt like magic, like Gal. Mysterious and so far gone, he might as well have never existed. After Brienne's band, the Curiosities recorded their first album, All My Lovers Dance in the Dark. The label decided she needed protection. She was their investment now. Enter Gal. He wasn't like the others. Fast-talking, observant, a breath of fresh air. One night in San Diego, a creep named Dougie who'd been following Brienne showed up at her hotel pretending to be press. The other bodyguards would have just stood by. Gal laid in wait. When Dougie appeared, Gal lured him away and later admitted, almost sheepishly, that he'd broken the guy's hand in 2 places. That was it for her. Heroic, roguish. A little bit bad, but always on the side of the angels. She could tell. She fell for him, hook, line, and sinker. Gal became her shadow. Later that year, they played the Bonnaroo Festival in Tennessee. The Curiosities would close out the 3rd night. Until then, it was killer acts. The band chose luxury camping on the festival grounds. Their site was far from the dust and chaos of the general population. One side was the barefoot, half-naked, beautifully unwashed. Their side was practically gilded, rock stars mixing with rap legends, egos taller than the stage scaffolding, genres blending in a haze of stardust and smoke. On the 2nd night, they went to see Fantagram. The stage sat under a large open-air tent, half a mile from the main grounds. The sides were open, letting in the wild pulse of the night. The moment the bass dropped, the earth seemed to shudder. The crowd erupted, a sea of bodies swaying, turning like a single organism with thousands of arms and legs and mouths, screaming, laughing, singing. Smoke curled into the rafters. Girls climbed onto shoulders, waving signs. Inflatable balls bounced overhead. Pure chaos. And Brienne loved it. She noticed people being pulled from the crowd, swept up and carried back for medical attention. At first it was just a thought, but something felt off. She felt it more than saw it, like something was calling to her. A light in the dark, gravity tugging at her spine. The crowd devoured her. She was being pulled, moth to flame toward the stage. Her makeup had melted off hours ago. She wasn't dressed like a rock star. She was just her. Then someone grabbed her backpack. She turned, and there he was, Gal. He shook his head, and in that moment she loved him again. That moment burned into her heart like a brand. Her chest shattered into 1,000 pieces and reassembled around Gal's name. Molly does that. Makes every moment feel like bliss on tap. MDMA is like stepping onto a stage. The audience feeds you that energy. Maybe that's why, later that night in the RV, when she wasn't sure if Gal thought she was too wasted, she still knew the flames dancing on Gal's fingers were real. He looked at her and smiled. They were naked, tangled up in sheets. He used the flame to light his cigarette. A knock came at the door. Brie jumped. It was late, too late for anyone to be at her back kitchen door. Her cameras should have pinged. In the junk closet sat a small gun, safe with a biometric scanner. She checked the feed. A tall, bearded African-American man stood at the back door, looking into the camera. "Wickham?" She slipped the Springfield Hellcat 9mm into her pocket. The weight reminded her that the man she once loved was dangerous, no matter how her heart had just dropped into her stomach. Am I dreaming? I thought you were dead, Brie said through the intercom. Reports of my demise were greatly exaggerated, Brie, Wickham said. Sorry it's been a while, but I need to talk to you. Brie opened the door. There he was, tall, handsome, that cocky half grin. Well, you haven't aged a single day, Brie. Yeah? I'm like a tree, do all my aging on the inside, gal. What are you doing here in the middle of the night? You can't call like a normal person? You've got a special rehearsal show tonight, right? I've been tracking a guy up to no good. I need to hang around to make sure you're okay, Wickham said. Not another psycho stalker fan, Brie groaned. Look, I'm not going to let anything happen to you. Something's been following me, and I think it has to do with you and the curiosities. Brie was about to reply when she noticed a bird perched on the chain-link fence. A black bird, staring like it understood their conversation. Wickham followed her gaze. Get your stuff. We've got to get you to the venue. There was a trace of fear in his voice. She'd never known Wickham to be afraid. That spooked her. She grabbed her purse and followed her ex-bodyguard. Or was he her ex-boyfriend? She'd have to ask later. Wickham's car was a white 2008 Volkswagen Jetta that had seen better days. Before she could ask about the beater, the same bird landed on the trunk and screeched. Wickham panicked and floored it, taking out Brie's trash cans. It was a big bird, dangerous talons, orange, angry eyes. The fuck? Brie shouted. Yeah, that's been following me for a bit. It's like a shadow's on me. Wickham took the turn off her block way too fast. You gotta be kidding me. What's this got to do with me? She asked. Wickham tried to answer, but as they descended from the hills, a person-shaped shadow sprinted out of the woods beside the highway ramp. Its eyes glowed. One black hand had claws as long as kitchen knives. Brie's heart slammed into her spine. She and Wickham clenched their teeth as the claws ripped gouges into the trunk. Fuck, did you see that? Wickham yelled.
Earlier. Ding, Mason's phone rang. Uh-oh, that's not good. Uh-oh, what? I don't like uh-oh, Mason. I get alerts from people at the asylum. Remember Melvin Shields? Nope, I said. You burned him badly in Tennessee. Stalker? Oh, yeah. Never knew the guy's name, I chuckled. He's dead, Mason said. Good. I see that moral flexibility is still alive, he said. You've got a lot of nerve. I was trying to kill him the first time, dog. I'm glad he's dead. I hope it hurt. Yeah, well, no bueno. Our dead guy in the theater is a coroner from the asylum. Don't like the sound of that. Wasn't something riding inside Calvin? His name was Melvin, Mason said. Melvin, Calvin, who gives a fuck? He's dead. If I'd known he was here, I would have finished what I started. You telling me you let whatever was inside him stay there? Was I supposed to get an exorcist? Call a witch doctor? You were the guy I called for this stuff. Then back in the day, Jules turned you off like a light bulb. Watching you go full robot freaked me the fuck out. I know a lot of people who know a lot of shit, but magic? You're the magic guy, Mason shouted. I chuckled again. Fair enough. Where would it go? I can hunt it. I've got some new moves. You look the same to me. Little more gray, same attitude. It's going after Brie. You know that. I did figure that's what was about to happen next. What's the address? My familiar is already in the air. I'm faster on foot. Keep your phone on. Go to the venue, I said, and turned into my shadow form, sprinting. Behind me, Mason cursed. How the fuck did he do that? I let my perception collapse to a single point, turned my hand to claws, and tore through reality. One moment I was running in the woods. The next, I veered onto the spiral road. A new trick I'd been working on since I'd hung around with Baron Samedi. A shortcut. Not as fast as Datura. She'd already beaten me to the big white mansion up in the hills. First, she watched from a fence. Then she landed on the hood of a white Jetta and saw Brie and some motherfucker wearing my goddamn face. In another stand of trees, I slipped out of the spiral road a second too late. I slashed at the tire and caught the trunk. Fuck.
Brie. We need to call Mason right now, Brie shouted. He's there already. Sent me to get you. Don't worry, babe. I've got a plan. Trust me. Wickham said. Brie immediately clocked it. That didn't sound like the man she knew. Wickham never called her babe. It was always lady or darling. Trust me is something you say right before you do some untrustworthy shit. Her fingers found the gun in her pocket. Thank God she'd brought it. She stayed quiet as they took the downtown exit. Had Wickham changed? Like joined a cult changed? You know, before you got to my house, I was thinking about you, she said. Listening to Phantogram. Do you remember that? Yeah, of course. He stared hard at the road. I told you I loved you that night. Said I wanted to marry you. Brie lied, squeezing the grip. I remember that. I was so happy. The man wearing Wickham's face smiled. Wrong. Then he saw the disgust on hers. That never happened? Who the fuck are you? I'm the one sent to retrieve a siren, a voice that can open the gates, the mother of a whole new human race. What's inside me is just the beginning, Brienne. You'll see. Now get out of the car. Your band, The Curiosities, is waiting. The humor drained from his face. He grabbed a green duffel, seized her arm. Sweat ran down Brie's forehead as the weight in her pocket grew heavier.
The shadow rising. I stepped back onto the road knowing exactly where he was taking Brie. It took them a few minutes to get downtown. It only took me a few feet to appear as the man wearing my face strong-armed Brie out of the car and into the venue called the Glass House. I went invisible as Datura landed at my feet and turned into her big cat form. The night was wet and cold. November in Michigan isn't that enjoyable of a climate. The building was 6 stories high with a warehouse-like structure built on the side. A block over, I could hear drunk people partying. Downtown was a miasma of scents and sounds. In moments like that, most people would charge the guy holding their ex-girlfriend hostage. I'm not most people. I knew if I lost control or forced a confrontation that Brie could get hurt or killed. The glass house was closed, yet the door was wide open. Datura got there first and looked up at me like she was saying, "Hurry up, fool." When I opened the door, I knew my calm in the situation was warranted. The scent that hit me was identical to that at the Marquis Theater. Datura looked at me quizzically. I only arched an eyebrow. See, an overabundance of caution is a good thing. I watched my imposter pull Brie down the hallway. I could tell it was her by the feline grace of her walk. She pulled a weapon, but the imposter was too quick and snatched the handgun from her before she could use it. Watching her try to fight back filled me with pride. Almost as much pride as the animosity I felt for the creature who thought he could commit crimes wearing my face. I looked down at Datura. Follow. Try not to kill. Innocent people are wrapped up in this. She took off at a sprint. I got a text from Mason. The kid from the theater is here. Where are you? I didn't answer. I heard shouting as I walked into the venue. It was an indoor amphitheater, a mid-sized theater with a large stage. The spotlights were on in many colors. The ceiling was all glass. You could stare up and see the sky. Through Datura's eyes, there was a guy in the sound booth. He probably thought this was part of the rehearsal. Fake Wickham dragged Brie on stage. Down on the floor in general admission were the Marquis Theater victims. They all wore black and arranged stones on the concrete. The symbols were foreign to me, but they reminded me of the symbols on Melvin's stones. It just goes to show you, if you go for the kill, make sure the job gets done. It was sloppy, but I couldn't take all the blame. A curse is a powerful thing, especially if the curse was from a soul so corrupted it became a demon. And now some supernatural dickwad was trying to do the same shit to Brie and her band. Not in my city. Not in my dimension. Freddie the guitarist said, "Wickham?" Cece spoke through the mic attached to her keyboard. "I thought you were fucking dead, man. What's all this shit?" Mason came running in, shouting at the people to stop. "Brie, get away from him!" He was cut off by a couple of the possessed tackling him to the ground. "Bring him up here," the imposter yelled. I moved through rows of theater seating to my left. In shadow form, both Datura and I were so focused on the prey. The imposter pointed the gun at Mason. "Sing or I shoot him." Mason laughed. "Look, if you were Wickham, you'd already know. I'm just the bagman. They don't give two shits if I live or die." The looks on the band's face said that was definitely not true. Brie's brows knitted together for an instant, looking pained by the words. If I had to guess, she probably said something shitty like that to Mason. "Fine. Then I'll shoot Cece. You do give a fuck about your sister. I know you do. You're not a monster like me. That's why I love you so much. That's why if I have to sacrifice everything you love, I will, Brienne. Do you hear me?" "Play, Brie," I implored in the darkness. She stared down at the floor for a moment. Her indecision made fake Wickham angry. He walked over to Mason and hit him in the face with the gun, then pointed it back at Cece. "What's it gonna be, princess?" he said. Brie dropped her coat, pulled her hair back into a ponytail, and stepped up to the mic. Everyone in the Curiosities fell into motion. Freddie picked up his guitar and stepped on the pedals on the ground. Cece stared at the gun like she was unimpressed. The drummer Mara made a throat-slashing motion behind fake Wickham's back. "You want to hear a fucking song, man? All right, we'll give you a song. The Girl Who Wouldn't Die Quiet on 3. Mama said, "Don't start a fire you can't control." But this world lit the match and called it my fault. I've been good, I've been small, I've been shoved in the corner. But a whisper grows teeth when you push it too far. The song picked up pace. The formation on the floor started to glow green. Several of the marquee victims started to fall to the ground and twitch like they were having seizures. A glowing blue smoke leaked from their mouths, noses, and eyes. I felt the room start to vibrate, and it wasn't from the music. On the stage was a white backdrop that shimmered, like something was pressing itself into our reality. I had to wait. If I didn't end it here and now, then we'd go through this a third time. When I was a different man in another life, I promised I'd protect Brie. What kind of knight would I be if I broke my word to a beautiful maiden? And I learned how to bleed without leaving a stain. How to smile like a saint while I swallowed the blame. But there's only so long you can cage a hurricane. Brie sang, her voice getting stronger. The massive gate-like structure opened up, and I could feel the other side, the world in between. It yawned open like the mouth of eternal damnation. A chasm stretching into a place that should not be. Panes of the glass ceiling shattered. Still, like a real professional, she got to the chorus. "'Cause I'm the girl who wouldn't die quiet. You can drag me through hell, but I'll riot. You can break all my bones, but you'll never break my will. I rise, I roar, I bite, I heal. I am the fire that refuses to die. Yeah, I'm the girl who wouldn't die quiet." "Now," I said to Datura through our bond. She leaped to the stage, turning visible just in time for one of the marquee theater victims to see a large cat rake its claws across his chest. Mason took the cue and punched the other victim in the crotch. "I don't care how possessed you are. Anyone goes down with a punch to the nuts." I leapt across the distance from the balcony to the stage, wrapped in shadow. I hit the stage with a thump. The curiosities stopped playing. Everyone was staring at me. I could see myself through Datura's eyes. A creature made of shadows with orange eyes. Even the spotlights couldn't illuminate my skin or clothes. I smiled viciously and saw my white teeth. If I didn't already know what I looked like, I would have been scared too. Fake Wickham shot at me 3 times. They made contact. I felt them, but it wouldn't stop me. I kept walking toward it. The bullets didn't even penetrate. I can shrug off small arms fire, no problem. I dashed at the creature, punching it hard in the face. I heard the satisfying crunch of its nose breaking. "You chose the wrong man to impersonate," I yelled and scooped up the weapon. I clicked the safety and tossed it to Mason, then let the shadow drop. Let them all see my face. "What the hell? There are 2 of them," Cece said. "No, kid. There is only one of me," I said. I assumed my shadow form once again, turning my hand into razor-sharp claws. But instead of cutting flesh, I reached past it, much like I do to open the way to the spiral road. I found the creature and grabbed a good hold, tearing it from the man convulsing on the stage. It looked like a vague shadow, a gremlin-like creature. It scratched at my forearms and actually cut my jacket. I didn't care. "Take care of these people," I told Mason. He nodded, bloody and dazed. "What are you gonna do?" he managed. "Don't worry, I'll be back." I carried the creature across the threshold, past the spiral road shimmer, into the limbo that yawns where the gate has appeared. The air tasted like ozone and old ash. I dragged the entity into the lands of the dead, the in-between, beating it the entire way. It screamed and cursed. It didn't matter. I came to the gates and shouted at the king. "This was your way in? You want to use her to open the gate? That's never gonna happen. You hear me? This world is protected by me, the Midnight. You hear?" I slammed my boot onto the shocked creature's chest and swiped down with a clawed hand, decapitating it. It turned to ash. Beyond the gate, the things waiting there howled, in fury and in sorrow, feeling not just the sorrow of the monsters behind the gate, not just pain. No, it was fear. And I smiled so they could all get a good look. I am Shadow. I am a monster. And if you fuck with me, I'll cut your motherfucking head off. I think they got the message as I turned to walk away. As soon as I got some distance, I noticed the cuts on my forearms weren't healing right away like normal. I decided not going back to the glass house was a better plan. I didn't want to face the curiosities. Not yet. Mason was smoking in the parking ramp across the street from the venue. The sun was about to rise, smearing pale orange across the edges of the sky. Down below, the street was lit up with flashing red and blue lights. Paramedics were escorting dazed victims out of the building, some wrapped in blankets, some still twitching, most confused. Police radios crackled. EMTs loaded stretchers into ambulances. My forearms did eventually heal, but the scars remained. Thin, dark, wrong. Datura landed in her bird form on the concrete ledge beside Mason and chirped at him. "A witch is familiar, huh?" Mason muttered, exhaling smoke. "You still a witch, Elias?" "Nope," I said, walking out of the stairwell shadow. "I'm something much rarer than that." "That's a scary thing you can do, going all shadow," Mason said. "Freaked out the act. Hell, it freaks me out if I'm being honest." He looked at me harder. "What the hell happened to you, man?" Was that guilt in his voice? From the fixer? Things change, Mason. Curses don't last forever, and sometimes, if you're lucky, you get to see the world for how it truly is, not the way you want it to be. I went through hell, man. But I made it out the other side. I shrugged. We should get a beer sometime. I'll tell you the whole sad sack story. So is that why you're back in town? The sad story? He asked. No. I solved that problem by stabbing it through the face, I said, chuckling. He offered me a smoke. I took it. Why not? I'm here because there's weirder shit than me in Blackwater Falls. Vampires, werewolves, ghosts. All sorts of supernatural shit. Blackwater sits on a nexus point to the spiral road. That sounds pretty damn ominous, Mason said. Yeah, it really is ominous. He flicked Ash over the ledge. She wants to see you. I flinched at that. I assumed after my display she might be put off. You know her. I've met a lot of rock and roll types who were faking it or deeply insecure. But Brie, she's the real deal. I've always liked her and the other kids, Mason said. It's like watching a light turn on, I said quietly. She's doing an underground gig at the cave, Mason replied. You should come. I think you owe her an explanation. I wanted to deny it. I wanted to walk away. But I couldn't.
The Song of the Unbroken. The bar sat buried beneath Blackwater's streets, carved out of limestone like a secret too good to share. You could hear it before you saw it, a pulse under the pavement, a heartbeat trying to find its rhythm again. Elias followed that sound down a stairwell, slick with condensation and candle soot. The air was damp, thick with incense, perfume, and beer. Datura drifted beside him, a shadow in the shape of a cat. Her thoughts pressed against his mind in sensations. Curiosity, the thrum of music, the faint ache of recognition. The room opened like a cave. Candles burned low, their flames bending toward the small stage where Brie sat barefoot with a guitar across her knees. The light kissed the freckled curve of her cheek, the tired hollows beneath her eyes. She wasn't here to entertain. She was here to exercise something. Don't forget that a man's hope for peace is with a clenched fist and a hand on a gun. Her voice was raw, a scar turned melody. The sound of someone who'd fought her way back to living and decided to stay. Around her, the curiosities kept slow time. Brush snare, a bass heartbeat, chords that trembled like confession. Elias stayed in the shadows, coat collar high. He'd followed the gravity of something real. Datura's warmth brushed his ankle, her pulse flickering through him. Awe, sorrow, kinship. When Brie reached the line, we are not broken, we're bound in truth. Something in the room shifted. The candles shuddered. The audience applauded like the night had been a catharsis. Some people had tears in their eyes as they clapped and just breathed together, caught between grief and grace. Brie ended on a whisper, the guitar humming into silence. The crowd lingered a moment, then began to move, slowly, reverently, like churchgoers after confession. She stayed seated, staring at her own hands, as if the song had taken more than it gave. Elias waited a beat before stepping out into the alley. The rain met him like absolution. Soft, cold, necessary. Datura padded after him, her outline flickering with every streetlight. Outside, Brie stood under the awning, cigarette glowing between her fingers. The smoke curled around her face, rain in her hair. That same haunted beauty he remembered. She didn't startle when she saw him. That was beautiful and raw, Elias said, voice low. I'm constantly impressed by you, Brie. I know what kind of monster I am. If I could have spared you the madness in my world, I would have. He laughed, short and self-deprecating, the sound of a wound reopening. Is this where you warn me? She said. Stalkers and dead supernatural entities are where I draw the line, buddy. A pause. You didn't lie to me, though, gal. That's not my name anymore. His jaw tightened. Yeah, Brie. I gotta warn you. Datura ran through his legs and under Brie's, tail flicking wet against her boots. The movement drew them closer. the space between them shrinking by instinct. You gonna threaten me, Elias? Her tone stayed soft, but there was steel underneath. I remember what you said to me, and to Cece. You'd die first before anyone could get to me. Elias looked down at Datura circling their feet, then back at her. The weight of that old promise settled between them. I'd never hurt you on purpose, he said. But if you start looking for this world, it looks back at you, and the world I live in is real dangerous. I've had my fill, trust me. Brie smiled, tired and proud. I sing about danger. I don't want to be in danger. I don't know if you can help it, he said. There's magic in art. Yours is in your blood just like mine. Go easy, and if you ever need me, call. No hell on earth will stop me. That kind of talk still made her stomach flutter. Stupid. Familiar. She stepped forward and kissed the rough stubble of his cheek. Not love, not forgiveness, just recognition. Then let's hope it never comes to that, she said, voice catching in the rain. Her driver's headlights blinked on at the mouth of the alley. Brie glanced back once, eyes bright in the dark, and walked toward them. The car door shut, and the world swallowed the sound. Elias stood alone beneath the awning, the rain washing smoke from his coat. Datura pressed against his leg, a low, wordless hum of comfort. He reached down, his fingers brushing the space where her head shimmered. God, let her be okay, he whispered. She's earned it. The familiar's feelings rippled through him, sorrow, pride, and something close to peace. Together they stepped into the rain, their shadows dissolving into the wet stone. And somewhere behind them, deep in the hollow of that bar, Brie's final chord still hung in the air, soft, defiant, and unbroken.
This story was originally conceived by my wife. She was trying to help with my endeavors. It took me a while to find the rhythm of it, to understand the edges, the shadows, and the beating heart at the center of it, you know? But once I saw the bones, I knew I had to finish it. It was a story I wanted to tell. It's my thing, you know? Rock stars, murder, magic, mayhem. Most of the Elias material that you've heard over these 12 episodes have been written on the fly. I had a plan of several poems and short stories that I was going to release, and I didn't end up releasing most of them. Sometimes it was written days before the episode went up, and I recorded it. Sometimes it was written hours before. It's been really fun to walk the streets of Blackwater with him and Datura. So this is our season finale. I'm taking a short break to get the first novel in the universe sorted out, you know. It's called A Perfect Midnight Harbinger. It will be coming soon. I am on the third draft, and I need to be done. In the meantime, I'll be dropping some bonus content here or there. Maybe a band sticker for the Curiosities, maybe a sticker about the Spiral Road, or a t-shirt or two, if something strikes my fancy. I'll also be leaning into some YouTube, maybe shorts and videos. Haven't really decided yet, but video is always something I've been into exploring. So, keep an eye out on the website. Stay safe out there. And, as always, don't look behind you. And thank you for listening.